Good evening. On behalf of our sponsors, the Harrison Press and the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce, we welcome you to this celebration of our democracy, the 2021 Candidates Forum for the candidates for election to the Harrison City Council. My name is Hank Menninger. I am senior counsel with the law firm of Wood & Lamping, having previously served for 8 years on City Council, and I have been asked to serve as moderator of this forum. This year, we have 6 candidates appearing on the ballot. One candidate, Matt Hackworth, withdrew from the race recently and so notified the Hamilton County Board of Elections. While his name will appear on the ballot, any votes cast for him will not be counted. All voters requesting mail-in ballots will receive a written notification to that effect, and those voting in person will also be so advised. The remaining candidates are all with us this evening, and they are in alphabetical order: Joseph Combs, Alexis Dole, Ryan Grubbs, Michael Maines, and Gerald Wilson. A preliminary word about our ground rules for this evening. I have composed a series of questions. Each candidate will be asked to respond to each question. None of these questions have been previously shared with any candidate or their representatives. The order of questions to be asked was also drawn randomly by the sponsor. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Candidates are not required to use the entire 2 minutes. Each candidate will also be afforded 2 minutes at the beginning and 2 minutes at the end to give a brief closing and opening statement. Candidates may refer to notes or other written materials during the course of the evening. Candidates are encouraged, if they don't understand a question, to ask for a repeat of the question. Candidates may comment on what has been said by other candidates, but may not address their fellow candidates. All comments must be addressed to the moderator and/or the audience. We ask candidates' supporters to hold their applause until all candidates finish their closing remarks. I want to give special thanks to Legacy Christian Church for their hospitality this evening, and to former Harrison Press editor Ollie Rame, who provided me his format from previous candidate forums and whose guidance for this event was invaluable. At this time, I will ask the candidates to introduce themselves, starting from my left. Simply state your name and your party affiliation.
My name is Alexis Dole. I'm a Republican candidate running for City Council. I was appointed to City Council a few months ago on September 1st. I've learned a lot in my first few months. I'm currently the chair of the Streets, Utilities, and Stormwater Committees, as well as the Planning Commission. Our family has a deep history of serving the city. My grandpa, Jim Dole, Uncle Mark Dole, brother Ethan Dole have all been on City Council. My grandma, Jerry Dole, was the clerk treasurer for over 30 years. And my dad has worked on the city street department for 22 years. He's retiring this Friday. I'm excited for the opportunity to hopefully continue that legacy of service. I was born and raised in Harrison. I went to St. John's for elementary school and then Harrison High School. Like my mom and grandma before me, I graduated as the valedictorian of my class, which was the class of 2013. From there, I went on a full academic scholarship to UK, and I got my bachelor's in management and marketing. I'm currently an operations manager for a successful medical software company called On Call Central. I work a lot on budgets, timelines, product development, and prioritization of goals, and I'm hoping to be able to transfer these skills to my work for the city and to bring a fresh voice to the table.
Thank you. Mr. Grubbs.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Grubbs. I have served on City Council for 2 terms. At this point, I am running for my 3rd term. I have served on pretty much every committee of council, whether it's finance, fire, police, economic development. I have served on all the different committees. My cup of tea, we'll say, is the finance. I'm a commercial banker for U.S. Bank. I've been in banking for 22 years, and I really enjoy that part of it and being able to bring my experience to the city of Harrison. I am a lifelong resident. Spent most of my life running up and down Cater Avenue where my grandma lived. Now I just live up on the hill, just up Sycamore here. So dedicated to Harrison, dedicated to the service of Harrison, and really enjoy that part of it, bringing my experience and expertise to what we work on a daily basis.
Thank you. Mr. Combs.
Good evening, I'm Joe Combs. I am running as an independent candidate, though I'm affiliated with the Libertarian Party of Ohio. I moved to Harrison in 2002, brought my family here after outgrowing our house in Cheviot, like many people who live in Harrison now. Found a place where my kids could grow up. Children are all graduates of St. John's School. My older two are graduates of Harrison High School. The younger one just started his freshman year at LaSalle High School. I've been working for the last 25 years as a software developer and architect for a company called Systems Evolution out of Sycamore Township, where I'm a co-owner of the company. Working as, in addition to software architect, working as a project owner and team lead. In 2019, I ran an independent campaign, and it was a fantastic experience. I got to meet all of my fellow candidates and forge some good relationships. Gave me the opportunity to serve on the Harrison Charter Review Commission this past winter and spring. And I guess the other thing that I would throw in there is that I, like all of the candidates up here today, I feel called to serve. I've been a scout leader for 30 years, currently a scoutmaster of Troop 408, chartered to the Harrison Knights of Columbus. In the last 10 or so years, I've served as president of the NKU Alumni Association and the Dan Beard Eagle Scout Association. And I have also volunteered with St. John's School, most heavily as Director of Technology.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
My name is Jerry Wilson. I'm with the Republican Party. Graduated from Harrison High School, served 3 years in the United States Army. When I got out, I got into real estate, and I've sold real estate for almost 40 years. I serve currently on the Board of Zoning Appeals for the city of Harrison for the last, I believe, right around 10 years. I served on the Mayor's Fund for approximately the same amount of time. One of my things I'm most proud of is we started an Amber Garrett Fund for the needy kids in Harrison after the young lady that was murdered. And over the 21 years we ran it, I was able to raise over $250,000 to be able to take children Christmas shopping each year. We also raise a lot of money with the help of the American Legion that I've been a member of for 40 years. We were able to get a youth football field down there, and we've raised money for them. And currently we're giving them somewhere in the neighborhood of $35,000 a year to help young men play football and the ladies to cheerlead. So I want to serve for the city of Harrison. I see some things that I don't like, and if I'm going to talk about it, I felt the urge that I needed to step up and run. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Maines.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, for moderating tonight. And I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mike Maines. I am serving on Harrison City Council. I am running this year as a Libertarian. If you look on your ballot, you will see that it says other party or an independent candidate. But make no mistake about it, I'm affiliated with the Libertarian Party of Ohio, Libertarian National Party, and active in the Hamilton County Libertarian Party as the treasurer. I'm a 40-year member of the community. I graduated from William Henry Harrison with my wife. She's in the audience tonight, and I better just stop because she makes me proud. But 1985 graduate of Harrison High School, the two of us, we've been married for 32 years. We have 4 children. I'm a 1990 and 1994 graduate of the University of Cincinnati, have degrees in mechanical engineering, both bachelor's and master's degree. I spent 25 years in industry, most recently with a company called by the name of Brule & Care. A couple years ago, I joined the University of Cincinnati as an adjunct professor, and then just 6 months, less than 6 months, I became an associate professor of practice where I serve as the faculty advisor for Bearcat Motorsports, Bearcat Electric Vehicle, and I'm also the faculty advisor for the Young Americans for Liberty. And you heard Bearcat Motorsports. I have one of the coolest jobs in town. I help students spend a year building a formula-style race car, taking that to competition, where we will compete with schools from all over the world, as many as 120 schools from all over the world in Michigan, 2 competitions, one in the middle of May and one in the middle of June. It is a fun job. One of the things I'm most proud of in the 4 years I've served on Harrison City Council, I've got 10 seconds, is the 7-foot wide pedestrian bridge that will be installed in 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Now we get into the meat of our program tonight. In our first question, we will be starting with Ryan Grubbs. As we indicated, the order of response to the questions was randomly selected. So, Mr. Grubbs, you are lucky enough to get the first question first. What, in your judgment, is the biggest problem facing Harrison today, and what do you believe the solution to be?
As I sit back and I look at everything, especially over the past 8 years, the biggest concern that I feel needs to be addressed is the financial situation. We've been fighting a battle for 8 years to get the financial statements, get the cash flows lined up, so we don't have to go back to the voters on stuff. You know, whether it is tax levies or tax rate changes, what have you. None of those things are what we really want to do, but sometimes changes have to be made. But we continue to take great steps to get the financial picture lined up. We've made some adjustments to address emergency situations, so those occurrences don't have as great an impact when they do occur, whether it's retirements, whether it's sewer lines collapse. We're now able to address any situation in a timely manner, and it won't put the city in a financial bind. So, but there's still steps that we need to take. The city, as it grows, everyone knows it puts stress on the streets, puts stress on all of our infrastructure. We continue to have to put sewer lines in, we have to put water lines in, and everything that we do costs money. That's why I think it all starts with, you know, not that I don't think protective services are important. It has nothing to do with that, but it all starts with money. Everything costs money. So we continue to work on it.
Ms. Dole.
I would agree with what Ryan said. I think that while there are several different issues, I think the main one that's going to be longer term is the finance. So I wasn't here yet when a lot of that sort of occurred, but I do know that we have a new finance director, Kim, and I know her personally and support her, and I think she's going to do a great job. So far, she's been doing a great job cleaning things up, and she's going to be looking into new sources of revenue and working on getting our budget straightened out. So I think that there's a lot of room to get creative with the new revenue streams, and I'm kind of excited to work with her on that and see what kind of ideas we can come up with, rather than everything kind of just falling to the taxpayers all the time. I think there's a lot more different revenue streams that we can look into that maybe haven't been thought of before. I think being a young person running for council, that's something that I can bring to the table. I kind of am a young mind, and I have a lot of fresh ideas that maybe haven't been thought of before. And I also, with my work, I do a lot of budgeting and a lot of work in Excel and, you know, numbers and things like that. So I think that I'll be able to bring that to the city as well.
Thank you. Mr. Maines.
Well, like the previous two candidates that answered the question, we all agree on one thing, and the finance issue in the city of Harrison is the biggest issue that faces us. We are a bedroom community, which means someone like myself who lives here in the city of Harrison does not work here in the city of Harrison. I work at the University of Cincinnati, so I pay the approximately 2% income tax to the University of Cincinnati, and I pay no income tax to the city of Harrison other than the small salary that I receive as a city councilman. My wife as well works here in this, or she works just outside of the city in the township. She pays Harrison income tax, but the vast majority of folks who live in the city of Harrison do not pay the income tax because they pay in some other municipality. And that is a problem. Being a bedroom community, it limits our revenue. But we have to have homes in Parks of Whitewater, West Haven, here in the downtown area, all of our great subdivisions here in town, but they require police and fire services, and they need the streets plowed in the wintertime, and those things cost money, right? We are not like the federal government where we can just print the money. That's going to catch up with us someday, but so we have to figure out how to balance the revenue, the services, and the potential pain of having to lose that tax credit that we pay. Maybe we don't lose all of that. Maybe we have to increase the taxes a little bit. But let it be known that we want to make sure that we have the best police, fire, and street services. You have my word that we will not defund the police or defund the fire department or defund our street services. We are going to make sure that we have the best services for our Harrison residents at the best value we can. And we struggle with that because my time is running up, so I can't go any further. Thank you.
Mr. Combs.
Well, my fellow candidates pretty much nailed it, and I'm not going to disagree on that. Finances are the single most important thing before City Council for the next 4 years. As Mr. Maines said, we're a bedroom community, and that's why a lot of people move here. It's the attraction of being in a tight-knit community. I also work outside the city of Harrison. My tax dollars go to Blue Ash, and they have a wonderful park there that I like going to on lunch when we're not in the middle of a pandemic and all working from home. But at the same time, to accomplish that and to have the taxes to do that, you wind up with being Blue Ash and having a Reed Hartman Highway running through the middle of your community. And I don't think that's something anybody wants. So we need to find a way to address our financial challenges. I would like to see if it does involve any changes. There's all kinds of talk you hear at council meetings. Councilman Hackworth has talked about it. Whether it's increase on the income tax, a clawback on part of it, whatever you do. I think we need to find a way to balance that with a cut or a change somewhere else. If we claw back some of the income tax, is that an opportunity to use that money in place of the fire levy that went in 2019 when I was campaigning? I see that as kind of a can kicked down the road. I hate that we're putting our response times, our first responders, their livelihoods and our own well-being at risk by having to put that on the ballot every couple years.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
Well, obviously I agree with most of the things that were said by everyone else, and I don't think it's necessary for me to repeat all those things. But I think we do need good growth. We need to get a better tax base with companies coming into our city. And I don't think a truck stop is one of them. I know there's a lot of people that talked about the truck stops coming in, and I don't think that's the answer. I think we need to listen to our citizens. I would serve on the Board of Zoning Appeals, and there was they wanted to put a group home in Harrison in a residential area. And the mayor told me, we're going to have that on a virtual meeting. And I said, who's that going to include? He said, well, it's going to include the City Council, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and the proponents. And I said, well, what about the citizens? He said, well, they'll be able to listen to it streamlined, but they will not be able to ask questions. And I said, Mr. Mayor, let me explain something. I serve at your pleasure. You can remove me anytime you want. But as long as I'm the chairman of that committee, we will never have a meeting where the citizens don't have the opportunity to come in and speak. I said, it's just simple as that. You got to understand sunshine laws. It's illegal to do that, and I will not do it. And I definitely believe in supporting the police and the fire. I definitely believe in qualified immunity for those. There have been people that sit on council that at one time tried to get petitions signed to remove qualified immunity. I don't believe in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second question touches on what some of you may have raised earlier. We are, as a municipality, facing tough financial decisions in terms of balancing budgets, and Harrison, like many municipalities, is no exception. What specific steps do you believe are in order to keep Harrison on a sound financial footing? And for question number 2, we'll start with Ms. Dole.
Yes, so I think a lot of that is, obviously increasing our revenues and keeping our expenses in line. I know I mentioned before, I want to try and be as creative as possible in finding new revenue streams and also making sure that our expenses are responsible ones and that we aren't wasting money anywhere. A lot of times things just fall on the taxpayers, and new taxes are the first thing to come to mind when funding things, but I don't think that that should really be the case. There's definitely a time and place for taxes, but I don't think that that should be the first funding source that comes to mind. I'd like to bring some fresh ideas to the table around that and see if there's any other ways that we can fund things through grants or, several different avenues. I'm not going to sit here and promise that we won't have any taxes the next 4 years because I don't know that. Sometimes taxes are necessary, but I'm saying that that's not going to be my first choice, and I'd like to avoid it if at all possible. We're already getting taxed enough.
Mr. Wilson.
Well, the biggest thing, I think, is getting more companies and jobs in Harrison. Obviously, if we don't get that, eventually we're going to have some form of tax increase to keep doing what we need to do. We can't cut police, we can't cut fire, we can't cut services, so that's the only way you can look at it. Unless we get a better tax base, more jobs, more companies in Harrison paying to Harrison, I don't think there's anything else we can do.
Mr. Combs?
I think like Mr. Wilson has said, growth is the key. One of the things that we did several years ago, we instituted the economic development director position, and I think that has been a real boon for the city. You need to no more than go a few blocks in downtown Harrison and see all the wonderful things that are going on, see the things council has been able to put forward, like the DORA, and see that economic development is working. I see that uptown as well with new businesses coming in, with Planet Fitness. So I think our focus is rightly on growth in a sensible way.
Mr. Grubbs.
I'll agree with both of them. I think commercial growth in particular is extremely important. That changes the impact on our residents for that income that the city receives. So commercial growth in particular is extremely important, and it needs to really happen within the city limit. While the jet agreement down off Dry Fork Road and Harrison Avenue is a good growth area for commercial development. We really need that growth to happen within the city limits, so we really do feel the impact financially. Some of the steps that we've really taken over the past couple of years, I think it's important to point out. We've really worked towards trying to come to a balanced fund budget. That's the conservative steps that we tried to take when we address budgets with each department, trying to keep it as conservative spending as possible. Obviously the resources aren't fully available that they may want for all brand new equipment, but that's why I like our street department drives older trucks. Yes, we have rotations now, but it's just a conservative approach and it's fiscally responsible spending. Some of the other things that we've done to address, working with Ryan Samuels and Matt Hackworth on the Finance Committee, really working to build reserve accounts. So retirements were always a big impact, always had a big impact on the budget. We built reserve accounts to lessen that impact. We have capital improvement funds, and then department projections so we can plan appropriately. She raised her hand.
Thank you. Mr. Maines?
Yeah, so we've kind of talked a little bit about the conventional approaches, right? We need to manage our finances. We need to tighten our belt. We need to perhaps look at ways of increasing revenue. One of the things that I had a conversation with a citizen a few months ago was about McKinney, Texas. And McKinney, Texas could be one of our aspirant cities. McKinney is one of the top 10 cities in the country to live in. They are very affluent. But one of the interesting things about McKinney, Texas is they have no income tax. And they pay for everything through a sales tax. And they have a vital brick and mortar store, commercial sector in their city that pays for all of their services via a sales tax. So perhaps we can look at what some other cities in the country are doing to try to find better ways to raise the revenue that we need in order to run our cities. McKinney, Texas is perhaps one. I think we need to talk to the residents and find out where's the city that you've been, that you like in the country, that we would like to be more like, yet stay like Harrison and be Harrison and have the culture and the character that is uniquely Harrison, but be smart about how we raise our finances. The other thing that I ran across a few years ago is the state of New Hampshire allows their cities and municipalities to actually put money in the stock market. Now, that might scare some people, but here's the reality. The stock market, on an annual basis, over a long period of time, returns 10% a year. And if you can put enough money away, and I'm certainly sure that's something Mr. Menninger and many other folks in the room are doing, and they have a built-up 401k, and they're relying on that 10% stock market return, and then they move to conservative investments at some point in time, and they live off the interest. And so perhaps the city of Harrison, if we set enough money aside, and the state of Ohio would let you do it, it's not legal in the state of Ohio, unfortunately, we could investigate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Our third question, again, is to finally nail down our last question dealing with finances. This will be directed first to Mr. Combs. Do you believe that the city of Harrison should reduce or roll back the income tax credit for those living in Harrison but paying no tax to the city of Harrison because their earnings are taxed by the municipality in which they work?
I believe when I first heard that idea, I kind of cringed because it hits me in the pocketbook like it does all of us. But as I think it through and think of like others have said, the fact that I'm enjoying city services and my tax dollars aren't staying in the city, I can see a clawback, rollback. I think that is a strong possibility from what I'm hearing and as I think about it. The question is, what can we do to balance that out? What can we do to soften the blow on people's pocketbooks? If the funds from that allow us to cover basic services, cover the things the fire levy I spoke about earlier is covering now, is there an opportunity to not go through a renewal on that and kind of offset any impact from a clawback or a reduction?
Mr. Maines.
I think the rollback of the tax credit is a possibility, but I don't think you do that by itself. If we're going to roll back the tax credit by 0.1%, we need to increase the income tax by 0.1%. If we're going to roll it back 0.2%, we need to do the same thing on the other side. And you have to understand, too, when you put the income taxes in, you give that credit. People say, well, that's great because I don't work in the city of Harrison. I work in the city of Cincinnati, so I won't ever pay the Harrison income tax. And that's how you get the tax through, right? And but we have to face that hard fact that residents living here in the city, working in another municipality, need to look at doing that. It's hard because, I spend, or pay 2% income tax to the city of Cincinnati. I get no benefit for that, right? But when we bring back roll back the tax credit, we're paying for the services that we use every day. When I call the police and expect a good response time, which they absolutely do, there's a cost for that. So for me, if there's going to be a rollback to the tax credit, there's got to be some other things that come into play. One of those would be increasing the tax as well. I think everyone involved in the city needs to take a share in that pain, if you will.
Ms. Dole.
I don't like the idea of repealing the tax credit. I think that there are some things we should look into first. If there's a way to not do that, I would much rather be down that route. I think that I would rather see, the big employers, the big businesses, new companies come in that have higher salaries, so we get more tax from that. I think there's a lot of other revenue sources that I would like to look at first before putting that burden on our taxpayers. That's not to say that after they're all exhausted that won't end up still being the case. But I think that first we should do a lot of preliminary work to try and avoid that.
Mr. Wilson.
I agree with what Alexis just said. But I also remember Hank Menninger said something one time that I don't pay any taxes in Harrison, and I feel like I should, because I get the services here, and I should be willing to pay for them. And I really think the citizens of Harrison will understand that they get the services, even if they work in Cincinnati, they still get them out here. And I think everyone in Harrison would be more than willing to pay to make sure that we keep good services.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Grubbs.
Well, the tax credit, it is a sensitive subject. A lot of people have moved here with the belief that they'll be able to live out here and not have to worry about tax. As the city continues to grow, we'll have to add police officers, we'll have to add street crews, we'll have to add firefighters, and all that costs money. Yes, in all reality, I would love to have a huge commercial development come in with a huge income tax that we'd be able to really supplement our financial picture. But the reality is we need to address situations right now. What it comes down to is the voter. It's what you all want. If you want quality services, if you want to continue to have quality services, then you have to choose how you want to address the situation. It's my job to present options, and that is one of the options, to repeal the tax credit. Is it a good option? Yes, because we do have 3/4 of our residents not paying income tax in the city of Harrison, and they take advantage of the services, where the rest of the residents actually pay for it, and then we get the income tax from our existing businesses. It's a great option. And I would think that people living here, wanting to continue to have excellent services, would be willing to repeal some of that tax credit. But it's our job to present all the options and let you make the choice.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. Our next question will start with Mr. Maines. Recently, the Harrison Charter Review Commission unanimously recommended some significant changes to the charter, including a recommendation for the city to engage a full-time professional city administrator. What is your position on the appropriateness of a full-time city administrator to oversee the day-to-day operations of the city?
Thank you, Mr. Menninger. I think that's a fair question. We're talking about a city manager, a city administrator, or perhaps staying with a strong mayor. Day to day, that is something that I'm still hashing out in my mind philosophically. What is the best strategy for the city of Harrison? When you have a strong mayor, they are the administrator or the mayor is accountable to the voters, and when you have a city manager, they are not necessarily accountable to the voters. They are a hired person, but they're still kind of in this political realm. They have to answer to the city council. To your point, when you were on the charter, you talked about how the city manager or the city administrator, they're trained. right? They are trained to run a city. They're trained to manage a city. So there's a huge advantage to that. I see the advantages of a city administrator. It's one of those things that we talk about constantly on city council and in our conversations with each other, with folks in the community. And I think that's something that we need to engage. And one of the things, the reason why we did not put it on a charter amendment this round is because the city administrator is something that we can address without modifying the charter. But the thing is we need to make sure that we do it. I think Mr. Dieters, the law director, made that point very clear that the discussion done during the charter committee about a city administrator is a serious discussion, and we can't let that drop. That in the next year or two, while I'm serving on city council, that needs to be at the forefront of our discussion. We need to work with the mayor and decide how we are going to proceed with the moving towards, as the city grows, a city administrator. Very difficult for someone like myself to be the mayor of the city of Harrison as a strong mayor because we have other jobs. So I think the city administrator is an appropriate thing to look at.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Mr. Grubbs?
I agree. I think for years our mayors lived and worked in the city of Harrison. They had the ability to be flexible. They could do their job and conduct business for the city on behalf of the city of Harrison, and it worked out great. But nowadays, more and more people are working outside the city, and they're not able to dedicate their time like before. So having a city administrator allows somebody to be on premise and handle those day-to-day situations by a trained individual that has both economic development as well as administrative education and hopefully experience before they would come here, and be able to apply that on a daily basis. They'd be able to partner directly with the police chief, the fire chief, economic development, and then report directly to the mayor, so we still have that strong mayor position in place. But I think it's incredibly important as the city continues to grow to get in front of situations before they blow up. And the city administrator would allow that.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. Mr. Combs?
Well, I sat on the charter commission that made that recommendation, so clearly I fully support the idea of a city administrator position. We're very blessed that Mayor Nyer knows his stuff. He has worked in the public sector. He knows his stuff. We're not always going to have a mayor that's that knowledgeable or as others have said, has the time to commit to becoming that knowledgeable and doing the job. And I think getting a city administrator in place, whether it's through the charter or just because we can take that direction even without the charter amendment, I think it's essential.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
I guess I'm the bad guy. I don't agree. I think we've worked as a strong mayor for a long time, and the city's done extremely well. And you look around and you see other cities where there's been a city manager, it really gets to be even more political. And all of a sudden they don't want them anymore. They want to get rid of it. But I think our strong mayor has worked in this community for a very long time, and I think it will continue to work the same way. We just need to get behind our city council and behind the mayor and make it work. I just don't agree with bringing in a city manager. We've got a development officer who brings businesses and stuff in right now, which I think he's doing a great job. But I just don't think we should.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Ms. Dole?
I see both sides of it. I think I agree with what Ryan said, though. I think that a city administrator would be a good idea. I think that then if you get one, though, the question is how to fund it. That's going to be another high salary. So I think, if you take some of the mayor's work, that would, you would be able to cut the mayor's salary a little bit to cover that. But I think also if we possibly combine it with another department, such as economic development, that would kind of be the best route to go, since we already have people who are knowledgeable about the area.
Thank you. Moving on to our next question. Mr. Wilson, you'll get this one first. What is your vision regarding the need for development and/or redevelopment of our commercial quarters along New Haven Road, Dry Fork Road, and Harrison Avenue between the two expressway interchanges?
Oh, obviously it's vital. I remember probably 25, 30 years ago When I was selling real estate, I came to Mr. Don Evans, who had all the property on New Haven Road. And we had, you're going to laugh, we had a guy that wanted to buy it and put a truck stop in. And Mr. Evans, in his infinite wisdom, flat out told me, he said, Mr. Wilson, you can take that contract and take it back to him. We're not going to do that. We're going to develop this in a proper way. And he was extremely right. And I think that's what we got to do with all of the city property along Harrison Avenue, New Haven Road, is we just got to make sure we do it right. And let's get the proper businesses in. I mean, there was a time when out in the off of Simonson, they wanted to put a Jehovah's Witness church in an industrial park. I don't think it was developed as an industrial park to put a Jehovah's Witness, nothing against churches, but I don't think it was developed for that reason. And that's why we got to be very careful on everything we do out Harrison Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Combs?
Several years ago, I think when Mr. Menninger was on council, they put together a comprehensive plan for the city, a guide to how to smartly manage growth. And I've been through that document, and it's fantastic the way the thought that was given to it. I think we need to continue to be smart about our growth, about that commercial development. When I first moved out here, 2002, it seemed, whether this is fair or not, this is the way it seemed to a newcomer, as if development was kind of willy-nilly and anything went wherever somebody wanted to put it. I think we've come a long way since then, having that comprehensive plan and using it as a guide to manage our growth is huge. And the important thing, I think, is that document needs to be a living document. It needs to be something that we frequently revisit and that we're assessing, does it still address our needs? Does it still have the right priorities? We need to revisit that document regularly and make sure that we're still pointed in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Mr. Grubbs?
I completely agree. The master plan was probably the best thing and the easiest thing because it was not only developed by city council and city leaders, but community members as well. You know, it was your vision for Harrison and how you wanted to play out. That development, that land is so valuable right now for commercial development to help from our financial side of things. We have to have the future vision, the forward thinking in mind all the time to make sure we can create the greatest impact on the city of Harrison. And when I say greatest impact, it's not just from the financial sense. It's the best jobs. It's what community partnership those corporations will have. But we have to be thinking about it and stop piecemealing everything together. You know, that's why everyone complains about Coleraine Avenue and Harrison Avenue in Dent, because the piecemeal, little businesses and 1,000 curb cuts. Well, it's failed in the past along the Harrison Avenue between Stone and New Haven Road, just because it was so long ago and no one was thinking far enough ahead. Well, our goal now is to try to think far enough ahead, bring in those good businesses that are great community partners that will provide the financial impact on our income tax, to create the revenues that we need to further our services without having impact on our residents.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. Ms. Dole?
I agree. I think that it needs to kind of be, obviously it's a very important piece of land right there, that stretch. So I think we need to think about it ahead of time and make sure that what we put there is the best things that we can. I think it needs to be a combination of what we both need and want. Like Ryan was saying, we need higher paying jobs, we need better tax base, but we also want to keep our citizens happy. And right there in that stretch, we want to have things that bring conveniences to our citizens. I know a lot of people have expressed to me that they have to go to Coleraine or farther for certain things that they want to buy or nicer places that they want to eat. And I think that if we can bring some of those to Harrison in that main stretch, that will be a good thing and our citizens will ultimately be happier.
Thank you. Mr. Maines?
Yes, we brought up a couple of things in this question about the corridor, the Harrison Avenue corridor between New Haven Road and Dry Fork Road, and the master plan is critical, right? I want to thank you for driving that during your time on council. That is our guide. And if you look at the master plan, Dry Fork Road is a gateway to the city. A 2-lane overpass just does not cut it. And it's frustrating because we put in for the money, and we put up a design, and Hamilton County scores that, and this year we were just under the red line. We just missed getting that project funded, and that's the frustrating thing with working with all the money we send up to the State House, getting that money to come back. And it's hard, right? We know how hard, when we had the fatality on the West Road overpass in 2018, we were told that belonged to ODOT, and there was Ohio Department of Transportation, and there was nothing we could do. And you have to just keep asking and pressing and pushing. And finally, we found an engineer through my network with the dirt bike track that knew everything that we needed to do to get 100% safety grant funding for the West Road overpass, so that we can have a 7-foot wide pedestrian overpass in 2023. And that's what we need to do with that whole interchange. In 2022, we have a Harrison Avenue safety grant money that coincided with that push. Because we figured out how to get safety grant money, we went ahead with Harrison Avenue, and you'll see Harrison Avenue's improvement with interchanges. And the better the interchanges, the better the traffic flow, the safer cars can travel through that corridor, the better, more businesses that will want to be placed there and move there, because they don't have to worry about their patrons being involved in a car accident, that sort of a thing.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Our next question will be directed first to Mr. Grubbs. How do you feel about the current state of development and redevelopment of our downtown redevelopment district? What can the city do to make it even better?
I think great steps have been taken. You know, we originally had the redevelopment, or we had the historic development district review at the same time that we were going through. And we worked directly with all the business owners and everything in that area. The steps that have been taken by each business owner to improve their property is absolutely incredible. We have community leaders that step up and lead the way in that entire area. I think the city continues to partner with them, going to different meetings and encouraging all the events and providing any services that we have to accommodate everything that's going on. Most recently, food truck rally. Food truck rally was the last one, I think. So, you know, or Taste of Harrison, that's what it was. Taste of Harrison was the most recent one, providing all our street crew to make sure that we block off the streets. We have police presence to make sure crowds are all good and everything. I think we continue to partner with them well, but we continue to partner with them to encourage and grow events as well. Whether it's a Facebook presence, whether it's email, whatever it is, we try to get that information out there so we can continue to promote those businesses. That's what draws people here. So I think we've done it good. I think we need to always get better at things. I think anyone's silly if they don't think we could do stuff better. But, you know, I think we do an excellent job, and especially over the past 5 years, it has been magnificent to see all these events down.
Thank you. Ms. Dole.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with the growth of the district. I think, as Ryan was saying, all of the big events that happen down there, it's kind of the heart of the town. And I think that they've done a great job filling it in. Right now I'm on planning commission, so it's really fun to see the new businesses that want to come in. At our last meeting we had 2 that are coming, and it's really nice and refreshing to see how that's balancing out, and we kind of have a nice variety of things down there. I just went to a rehearsal dinner a few weeks ago at 1860, so it's nice to see that we're meeting our own needs and being able to keep our dollars local.
Mr. Maines.
Mr. Manager, could you repeat the question?
Yes. How do you feel about the current state of the development and redevelopment of our downtown redevelopment district? What can the city do to make it better?
Yeah, I am absolutely excited about what's happening down in the downtown district. I want to step back for a minute and mention the fact that all of the business owners in the city of Harrison are truly the heroes in the city of Harrison. They're the folks that put it out on the line every day. They're risking everything that they have, their life savings, to run a small business. And it's not the city officials. We're not the heroes of the city. It's our small business owners. And we need to do everything we can to support them. Specifically with the district, when there's an event down there, when we have a food truck rally, when we have a Taste of Harrison, when there's music on the avenue, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm there, I'm present, I'm volunteering, I'm hauling out the garbage, doing the dirty work, doing everything I can to make sure that the event down there they go off without a hitch. And the excitement down there on the street this year was just through the roof. I mean, you would have thought people had been locked up for a year and a half, right? And so it was just exciting to be a part of that. I was so disappointed that we had to cancel, those events last summer, and I just can't wait to see what the district businesses do with next year's Taste of Harrison, next year's food truck rally, and the more music's on the avenue, and the new businesses that are coming. The excitement and the energy is just tremendous, and I just want to be one of the city's biggest cheerleaders, rooting on what I would consider the heroes of Harrison, our small business owners.
Thank you. Mr. Combs?
When I look at what's going on down here in downtown Harrison, it's nothing short of phenomenal. Mr. Baines mentioned the food truck rally. I think I had more fun than I ever thought I would have, just hauling trash and meeting people as part of the Taste of Harrison. It's such a lively event, and I think the city was wise to set the direction for the downtown district, and then kind of let people show the entrepreneurial spirit that built this country. The variety of businesses that are coming in is just amazing. And I think for me, where it really sunk in was actually a couple years ago when the escape room and axe throwing place opened up, because it occurred to me that we've got variety now. This is on its way to becoming a bona fide entertainment district. We've got restaurants to eat at. We've got retail. Now we've got activities to keep people downtown enjoying Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Mr. Wilson?
The Harrison community, what we did years ago is we took all the reasons for coming downtown away. We tore down a courthouse, the post office moved out, the grocery stores moved away, everything moved up on the hill, and I think they're doing a great job now getting the community to come back. And that's what we need. We need things down there to attract the community, to bring them back. And I think the rallies they're having now with the things that they're putting on are excellent, and they're doing a fantastic job. We just need to continue the course on that right there. I think that's all it takes, because what can you say when you've got success? Just keep repeating it.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Our next question will direct to Ms. Dole. What is your vision regarding the growth and quality of our residential communities?
I think that as we continue to grow, as long as we are doing so in a planned and responsible way, I think that we're going to continue with success in the city, and that's going to attract more and more residents and more businesses, which ultimately is going to be a good thing for the city. I think that we should work to keep the small town charms and traditions of the city intact as we're growing. I don't think it should just be all numbers and explode in growth, but I do think that we're doing a good job, and my vision is just a happy and successful Harrison to come.
Mr. Wilson?
Oh, I agree. We just got to get the right amount of development we want, and we need to talk to the farmers out there and see if they want to be incorporated in the city of Harrison and develop it in a good way. I don't know that we need a lot of the barracks type places that are out here, but I think the subdivisions that we've been putting in and monitoring, I think they're doing a great job, and they're beautiful. They're very expensive homes, and they're bringing in the target people I think we want in Harrison, but with the jobs and the income. So I think we just need to continue on that course.
Thank you. Mr. Combs?
I think the important thing when it comes to our residential sector is to put some focus on, put some thought into things like design standards. Mr. Wilson's right. We don't need the barrack style houses. We need attractive, well thought out communities. Watching the preliminary presentation from the Dries folks that they're looking on putting further north, I think it'll be our northernmost subdivision off of Edgewood. It was fascinating to me, the thought that's been put into that in terms of how they're laying it out. That it's got, you know, lots of community space, that the thought put into, you know, centrally locating amenities so that the community can make use of them. I would like to see more of that type of thought put into communities as developers are thinking about what to do in Harrison.
Thank you. Mr. Grubbs?
I do think some of the development that has taken place has been excellent. You know, I think well-designed neighborhoods, like Joe was saying, is very important. I think it's going to be the quality of the homes that go in. But I think the real question is what impact do these new subdivisions have on the city? And I think that's what we need to address before we allow all these subdivisions to continue to come. What are these builders that are coming out here making millions of dollars off of new residents doing for the city of Harrison? How are they supporting this new development? How are they helping and providing new infrastructure, new development? All we hear about is the impact that these new housing developments are having on Edgewood and Short, Dry Fork Road, but none of the developers are expanding those roads or paying for any of the pipe out to the neighborhood. We have to be willing to sit down with them and say, if you want it, then you pay for it. It just, you know, Edgewood to expand it out is another $4 million. That comes out of taxpayer money. So we have to be willing to address it with the builders and how they're going to do it, as well as hold them to the design standards that we're going to require for the continued growth. We can't continue to provide a police car out there or a fire truck out there if they're not going to start helping.
Thank you. Mr. Maines?
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the developments that are finishing right now, the West Haven development, the Trails of Whitewater, those things were all approved more than 4 years ago, before most of us sitting here were on city council or would have any involvement with that, at least in my term on city council. So that all happened before, and so we're paying the price for that. We're looking at trying to take your student to the junior high or the high school to the elementary school and then get on the highway at Dry Fork Road. And so we need to put the pressure on the Ohio Department of Transportation that we've got 3 schools, we've got 3 subdivisions north of town along that Dry Fork Road corridor that feed into there, and now we're going to have the Hillwood development. We need an appropriate overpass, and it's just really unacceptable that we were right below the line. I mean, we need that overpass in the worst way. We were 10 years behind on having that. We're probably 10 to 15 years behind having a pedestrian walkway across the West Road overpass. And how can we send a lot of money up to the State House. Where does all that money go? We need to have more of that money coming back for infrastructure, and because people want to live here. And we have great schools. The cost per pupil here is relatively low compared to other schools, and the quality of the education of the public schools is phenomenal. So that's why people want to come here. They want to live here, but we need to be able to get folks to school and then off to work, and they're going to be jumping on the Interstate 74 corridor, and there's no reason that Dry Fork Road is, so that's one of the things we need to kind of put our foot down to the developers to say, if you want a new subdivision, you got to help us out. You got to talk to the folks at the State House so that we can bring that money back. We can't put any more development until we get an interchange at Dry Fork Road to manage it.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Our next question will start with Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs, what is your position on the possible location of a truck stop at either New Haven Road or Dry Fork Road interchange?
For me, I think I would say that I was not crazy about it when I heard, in particular, the Dry Fork interchange. As we've all discussed at various points this evening, that interchange is hurting. And just slamming a truck stop there is only going to make it worse. I think coming back to our master plan and the careful thought that's been put into how to manage our growth, we need to be looking at the types of things that are going in. Is it serving the best needs of the community? Is it creating the jobs that we need? Is it addressing some need for the people of Harrison? And be sensible about what we put in.
Thank you. Mr. Maines?
Personally, I'm probably a little bit more open to the idea of that type of a development, but I've listened to the residents in the city of Harrison, and they don't want that. And so when the opportunity came to make a motion and bring that resolution to council to stop the Love's truck stop, I made that motion at the urging of the mayor, and we voted unanimously that the city, the council, the current council, is not in support of that development. I think we've been pretty clear as a community and as a council, and we just need to continue to make that clear that we don't want that type of development in our town.
Thank you. Ms. Dole?
I agree. I don't have anything necessarily against truckers, but I think that in that spot, there's a lot of better companies that you could have come to that area. If we're going to do it, we may as well do it right the first time. So I think it's important to plan and think of what type of business you want there. Rather than having a few jobs or cashiers or whatever at the truck stop, I think it's better to bring in a tech company, bring in something that has higher paying jobs and more employees while we're at it.
Mr. Wilson?
Not just higher paying jobs, just more jobs. A truck stop's not going to put a lot of employees out there. And without having that overpass redone immensely, it would be foolish to have a truck stop there, and I would be totally against it.
Mr. Grubbs?
I completely agree. Between the overpass, and don't get me wrong, that's an optimal spot for it because you have JTM trucks rolling out, you have a distribution center going there, you have the potential for more commercial development that's going to primarily probably have trucking. I get it. Truck stop is a great place. One, it will provide rest for truckers, a fueling station for them that'll make it nice and accessible. But at the end of the day, 32 acres of land covered primarily in blacktop with, forgive me, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but lower paying jobs. It's not helping the tax base in any way. It could be one, maybe two great companies that bring more employees, more opportunity for residents that live here and work here. And it's a smart, forward-thinking approach to it.
So our next question then, to follow up on that, we understand that the township trustees, by a 2-to-1 vote, opposed the location of the truck stop at Dry Fork Road. Do you see a role for our city council to work more collaboratively with the township trustees for the mutual benefit of both the city and the township? If so, what can you do to facilitate that role? Starting with you first, Mr. Maines.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about the truck stop. One of the things we run into there is that the Hamilton County approved that development, and they can force that. It's not in the city of Harrison, it's in the county. So we have to work hard as a city council to make clear to the county that we don't want it. If the county and Love's works together, it may very well happen, and we can block the sewer and water, and they'll sue us, and we will have to provide it. And so we get into a difficult situation. As hard as we want to work to stop the truck stop, we may not be able to. And so that's important for your who you vote for your township trustees. It's interesting that we have some controversy here, and we've got a 2-to-1 vote in the township trustee. Yet we have five folks. We have a contested race in city council, and we don't have any contested races in the township. And the reality of it is everyone sitting here that's running for city council lives in the city, and they live. All of these folks here live in the Harrison Township. Some of Harrison City residents obviously live in Crosby Township, Parks of Whitewater, West Haven, that area. But we really probably need, as residents, to think about city of Harrison has the largest population base of Harrison Township residents. And if we want to be represented properly, and that is to get the proper fire, we know the issues with the fire, and a better relationship with the township, we probably need to have some city residents on the township trustee board.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Mr. Grubbs.
I think Harrison is not just the city of Harrison. Harrison is Harrison Township, Harrison's Crosby, Harrison Whitewater Township, goes clear down to Miami Town. We're all Harrison. The importance of all of us working together to create a community that we want is the key. I am the liaison between the city and surrounding communities. So I work with counties in Dearborn County. I work with communities in Dearborn County. I work with Harrison Township, Crosby Township, Whitewater Township. I'm currently on the EMA board. So actually had a meeting this afternoon down at the Hamilton County Emergency Management Headquarters. So it's partnering with each of them, building relationships in a way that gets us the results that we want for our community. It's community members electing representatives that do partner together well, so we can accomplish what everyone wants. It can't be a one-sided thing. It has to be a true partnership. And don't get me wrong, I think we have great relationships. I think there are differing thoughts and opinions, but that's what's great about this process. Just because we have differing opinions, one person doesn't get what the other does. And we hope that it's the best for the community. I think it's very important that we continue to work on that relationship. I think it's very important that we grow that relationship in a better way going forward. But it's up to the voters.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. Mr. Combs.
I think it's absolutely crucial that we find a way to work together, city and township. There is so much shared resources that one can't really survive or thrive without the other. I have heard, I clearly don't know all specifics, but at times I think that relationship has maybe been a little strained, and we're going to have at least one, possibly two new faces on council come November, come January. We need to make sure that those new faces are bringing ideas to the table to work collaboratively to strengthen that relationship with the township.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson?
I've just never understood why it's me against you when it comes to township trustees in the city of Harrison. I've just never in my life understood that. I've only been voting 50 years, and it seems like there's always controversy one against the other. Why aren't we a team? We all are 45030, except for the ones out on Harrison Pike. Some of them are 45002. I don't understand that. And I've never understood why there's not someone from the city of Harrison within the city limits that wouldn't run for trustee. Like Mr. Maines said, we're the most heavily populated for the township trustees, and we just never seem to get one. And I think because they're all three don't live in the city, it's like they've got to be combative with us. And I don't think that's necessary. Let's get together and have a meeting of the minds for the betterment of the community, not just Harrison Township, not just the city of Harrison, but the entire area.
Ms. Dole?
I agree. I think that our relationship with the township needs to be strong. I know I haven't been on council very long, but it seems like every meeting I'm at, it's kind of a situation where they want this, but we want this. And it's never kind of the same thing. So I think that maybe being more collaborative and having more open communication with them would be a good thing. I know Rick is a township trustee, Rick Dole. He's my cousin, so hopefully I would be able to aid in that, kind of mending the relationships there.
Thank you. Our last question, and if we get through this one, we may have time for one from the audience. And we'll start on this one with Mr. Wilson. How does your education, background, and experience qualify you to serve the citizens of our community in a representative capacity to meet the challenges facing us?
Well, I think, obviously, I graduated from Harrison High School. I spent 3 years in the Army. I did get an associate degree in business from Cincinnati Technical College. I've been involved with the American Legion for 40 years. And in that involvement, we have built this post in Harrison, Ohio. From when I joined, it was 187 people. And right now, we are the second largest post in the state of Ohio membership-wise. And I think that's something to be said, because we organize. We've been able to organize a lot. We moved from, as everybody knows, down on Vine Street with no parking. And we proposed to build on 12 acres of ground that we purchased from Mr. Evans. And I will tell you, when I proposed that in the meeting, I had people saying I was going to drive the American Legion bankrupt, because we were moving out on Campbell Road on 12 acres and building a building out there. Well, we've seen what that's done. It's increased to 1,200 members. We have a wedding reception hall. We have a youth football league down there that we get a whopping $1 a year from the Harrison Youth Football, and then we give them about $35,000 a year to operate down there. So, but I think my experience with the American Legion, as I said before, I just got elected to a national vice commander's position. I was a state commander in 95, 96, so I've got a lot of experience working with people and working with groups of large people, and I think I'm very well qualified to sit on city council.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Combs.
For me, my background in education, I hold a master's degree in computer science and bachelor's degree in computer science. And as I mentioned in my introductory remarks, I'm co-owner of my consulting company. The thing about my chosen career, and especially doing it as a consultant, is by necessity you become a problem solver. You bring a engineer's mindset of being able to look analytically at problems, being able to kind of decompose the problem and seek out the best solution based on that analysis. So I think that is a real strength for me on city council. As far as family living here for the last 20 years, I've raised my family here. I've watched it grow. It was already growing before our house, before they even dug the foundation. But I've watched it continue to grow. So I've seen the challenges. I've seen the successes, and I look forward to bringing that knowledge to bear for Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Mr. Grubbs.
I graduated from Ohio State University, degree in finance, a long time before Lexi. Probably born, but yeah. So did graduate from Ohio State with a degree in finance, loved every bit of it. But I think being able to apply the experience that I've gained in the banking industry, not only from a customer service perspective, but business development, obviously the finance piece of it. And having grown up in Harrison, watched it from old Harrison of the cornfields, completely understanding what those individuals that have lived their whole life here and would like to keep, but understanding that growth is inevitable, and trying to manage that process, understanding the importance of the financial impact, I think is important. You know, I think the 8 years that I've spent on council can kind of provide some stability with the newer members, because we'll have a young. I think that'll provide some stability and experience to just help provide some guidance to the new members. So that's the hope.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. Ms. Dole.
Yes, educationally, I feel like I'm pretty qualified. I graduated with my bachelor's in management and marketing, so kind of more broad general business. And I got a 4.0 at UK, slid right through, straight A's. So educationally, I feel like I'm there. Experience-wise, I've started working, I guess, 4 years ago now. And since my starting date, we've tripled our revenue and customer count at my company. So we've been very successful. So I kind of am looking forward to being able to transfer some of those skills to the city. In a lot of ways, it is like a business. with the, the budgeting and things like that. So I feel like educationally I should be okay. With what I do lack in years of experience, I'm willing to make up for with a willingness to learn. I'm a really quick learner, and I've already learned so much just in my first 2 months. So I'm looking to learn a lot more and bring some enthusiasm to the table. With what you were saying about being representative of the population, I know excluding Jean, it's all males on city council. So I think that I would bring a fresh face to that and kind of get a woman in there and get a different voice at the table.
Thank you. And Mr. Maines.
The experience that I bring to City Council, we can look at all the degrees and all the pieces of paper. We got a bunch of smart people up here on stage. What's important is to be able to sit down and to listen to people and hear what they have to say and get everybody's viewpoint, as many viewpoints, and get as much engagement as possible as you can with the community, because I don't believe in centralized planning. I don't believe my top-down approach, my idea necessarily is the best. I need to hear the ideas from the community, and we need to bring the best ideas together to come up with the best solutions for the community. So we need to have that ability to listen and give people the chance to speak. The second thing would be the depth and breadth of my network. I'm involved at the university. It's amazing what being involved in the dirt bike track has brought to the city, right? If I hadn't been involved in the dirt bike track, I wouldn't have met Caroline Duffy, 143 Engineers. We wouldn't have a bridge going across the road. Nothing to do with the dirt bike track, right? Pedestrian walkway. And then lastly, I am a libertarian. We are a party of principle. I would encourage you to look at the lp.org platform and understand that the way of thinking, the thought process, it's free market, it's small government, it's government by the people, it's a grassroots effort where people are free to be their best individual self and bring their ideas to the table. And the government doesn't tell you what to do. We listen to what you want, and we bring to you the solutions that you need as a collective. We try to get everyone engaged, not just have a handful of people in Washington or the state of Columbus making the decisions for us. The government that governs best is the government that governs least, and the government that governs at the local level.
Thank you, Mr. Maines. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. Come on up to the mic.
Is it on?
Yes.
My name's Barry Carlson. I'm from Harrison, live down on Ridgeview Drive. And while listening to you talk about the truck stop and all that, I know from my days on the Planning Commission and just simply trying to drive around the city, that whole area is not set for any expansion, period. You have to get that done first. Now how, nobody knows yet, but I have a question for you, and I'll leave it open.
We'll start with Mr. Grubbs on this one.
Okay. Has anybody thought of putting together a land bank for all this development you're thinking of up and down Harrison, Dry Fork, New Haven, all that, where instead of having to deal with things like the JAD and this part is the city and this part is the township and this part is the county, where one central government entity can help market it, plan it, and then bring it together, along with solving the problem of the overpass and the entranceway. That's my question.
We do have Shannon Hammons, who's our Economic Development Director, and he does market and collaborate with all local businesses, landowners, whether it's in the JED or whether it's in the city. We task him with positive economic development. Now, obviously, we want him to focus on the city, but the JED development does benefit the city of Harrison. We do share part of the income tax revenue that is generated from the JED. It's 51% comes to the city of Harrison because we get administrative fee for processing, and then 49% goes to Harrison. Now, the sticking point on that whole overpass, or that whole area, is the overpass, which is controlled by the Fire Department of Transportation. And unfortunately, without development, they don't want to expand it, which then we run into the situation that we're in right now. We're in it. You know, it's mass chaos down there from 6 to 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then in the evening, it might as well back up clear down to Miami. It's already a mess. We have conveyed that. There have been design plans to expand that bridge, but we're looking at 2024, I think. And then it's going to be a shared development between the city, the township, and Hamilton County to get that overpass done. The goal is to expand it down towards the high school and then back down towards the JED area.
Thank you, Mr. Grubbs. and Ms. Dole.
Yes, so I'm on streets right now, and that's actually one of our bigger projects that we're looking at. As far as one governing body that you were talking about, that's an interesting thought. I would like to do some research and see how that's worked for people. But the way we are right now, we do have to work better with the county and the township. Basically, what I was told is that we have to have it on a platter, with a pretty bow on top, and have the county on the same page, have us on the same page, have the township all working together. So I think really that's the only way to get it to happen. Everybody knows it needs to happen. Funding is the only thing that's really holding us back right now. So I think, once we can get that, it's sort of a waiting game right now. But, the more that we can work with Hamilton County and with the township, the better our chances are for getting that sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Mr. Maines.
Mr. Carlson, thank you for the question. And I think what needs to happen here is that you and myself and Ms. Dole and Mr. Leslie and Mr. Shannon Hammonds all need to get together and sit down and talk about your idea. I mean, that's where it would start. And then obviously, as we talked about, we've got to talk with the other municipalities, the Hamilton County, the township, those sorts of things. But I think it's an idea that deserves being listened to. It has merit. And that's exactly what I was talking about in the last question. We need to sit down with the citizens because you have great ideas. I'm not, the hero riding in on the white horse. That's not what you want. You want someone who wants to engage the community and get ideas from everybody sitting here in the audience. Because you may think it's a dumb idea or a crazy idea, but as we hash it out, it works out to be the best idea. We don't know what the best ideas are. No one knew that the magic piece of glass, the cell phones that we have today, were going to be the great technology, that they were going to be touch screens and radios and streaming devices and video devices and communication devices and TikTok and all those things. Those things weren't envisioned by some central planner. Those were figured out by entrepreneurs who are willing to test ideas and make mistakes and keep working until they found a good answer. So thank you for bringing your idea forward tonight. That's exactly what we need.
Mr. Combs.
The thing I find interesting about your question is it actually kind of ties back to things that we've talked about throughout the evening here, in the sense that it's about getting intentional about things. It's about intentionality in what we do. The city has done some interesting moves. Fascinating to me as kind of a novice in the economic development space. But the things the city has done expanding the community reinvestment area, they've exhausted all of the available expansions under the more favorable 1990s era rules. But the fact that we got intentional about that and made the most of it, to me, is fantastic. I think we need to explore, whether it's a land bank idea or we need to explore ideas that are going to allow us to be intentional about these things.
Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, great question, and I agree with you 100%. I'm not a very good predictor. If I was, you'd be buying my bottled water, and I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere. But we need to get together and make sure everything is on the right page. I think it's amazing when you go down Harrison Avenue that this house or this business is in the city of Harrison, the next business is in the township. and you go across the street, and that one's in the township, the next one's in the city of Harrison. It'd be nice if we could get all that into one. But again, we're going to have to fight with the township and those people because they don't want to do that. It makes perfect sense to me, though, that we would have someone that would come in and be able to get us all together on that page. And I don't understand why we don't invite more of our business leaders in to discuss things. Because they're the ones of the genius of the group, because they're the ones that do risk everything and start these businesses and make them successful, kind of like the Evans family. If we'd have been real smart a few years back, we'd have been buying land in Harrison instead of worrying about if the interstate was going to make us a ghost town. Mr. Evans saw the future, and he said, Cincinnati's going to come out. And that's why he bought a lot of land out here. And you're right. We need to get together, and we need to have one group together and work on exactly what you're saying.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. So it's time for closing remarks. And each of you will have 2 minutes to kind of sum up your view of the evening. And we're going to start with Mr. Grubbs.
Appreciate that. Now, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. And if you're listening online or watch it later, I do. I want to thank you all. You know, I love what I do. I love serving the community of Harrison. Love working with the surrounding communities, the relationships that we've built and developed over the years. I do want your. I would like to ask for your vote. I would like to continue for 4 more years and continue to serve, to continue to work with our finance team to better the financial picture of the city of Harrison before I depart into the sunset on a fishing lake somewhere, hopefully. It's a privilege. It is. It's a privilege to be able to be of service to everybody and to be a part of this. It's an honor to carry on the tradition. Like Lexi had said, my grandfather was on council and was actually mayor for a little bit. So, you know, those type of things are neat in my mind, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I enjoy this part of it. So, come election day, please vote. Thank you.
Ms. Dole.
Yep, I'll keep mine short and sweet. So just to conclude, as a young female Republican, I'm hoping to bring a fresh, different voice to council and to round out the skill sets that we currently have serving the city. It's an honor to serve, as Ryan was saying. It really is. It's a privilege to be able to put our skills to work for you all and ultimately to better the city. I love living here, and I'm grateful for the chance to serve the community now and in the future. I'd appreciate your vote on November 2nd.
Thank you, Ms. Dole. Mr. Maines?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody that came out tonight, everyone that's online. It was great to have Mr. Menninger grill us with some great questions. I hope we answered some of your questions. If we didn't, please feel free to reach out to me. You can go to mainsforcouncil.org. Go to my website. There you can find my Facebook page, my email address, my phone number. And from there, if you want to continue the conversation, if you have questions for me, you can ask those. You can go to my webpage. You can go to the blog page, and you can see my position on qualified immunity. You can see my position on the Convention of States. You can see my position on resources on the Libertarian Party. You can engage me on any question you have, and that's what's been fun about the campaign season that's getting ready to wrap up. That's what's been fun about the last 4 years of being on City Council. I have fun with it. I'm learning something every day, and my mind can be changed. I want to hear your ideas. I am not the knight riding on the white horse to come in and save the day. I'm the person who facilitates and listens to your problems and tries to answer your questions and tries to defuse the situation and tries to get all sides of the story. We need, in this country, we don't need 2 parties. We need many parties. Bernie Sanders said we didn't need 23 different flavors of deodorant. We know that's crazy because the one that they would take off would be the one off the market would be the one I would be allergic to, but not allergic to. And we just need to have a lot of voices come together. More party means less political division in the country, less fighting, and less divisiveness, and I would just encourage you to visit my webpage. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Maines and Mr. Wilson.
Okay, thanks for everybody for coming out, and thanks, Christine, for putting this on Harrison Happenings. I know you got a large following. I'm a Republican. I believe in the Republican Party. I believe in the two-party system. I think it's worked fine for 245 plus years, and I think it'll continue to work fine. I just think we need to have the other candidates up here have a lot more degrees than I got, but I pride myself in a lot of common sense, and I break everything down that way. Let's just look at it. Let's decide what's right, what's wrong, and let's move on. But I think we've got a great city. I think the city can improve, and that's the reason I'm running.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. So it's been a great evening. On behalf of our sponsors,
Hank?
the Harrison, I'm sorry, Mr. Combs, I stepped on you there. My bad.
That is quite all right.
It was a great evening up to that point.
I was taking a deep breath for him. And
That is quite all right. For me, Harrison is a great place to raise a family. I'm as sure of that now as I was 20 years ago when I moved my growing family here. As you listen to the answers that we've all given tonight, I hear a lot of similarity. There's a lot of similar thoughts on the financial challenges that Harrison faces, on the role of growth and how to smartly management, on the importance of city services, our fire, our police, our streets and utilities. And I think that puts the voters of Harrison in the enviable position of not having to make a lesser of two evils choice. We're going to be in good hands, so the voters of Harrison can carefully think about who the right for people to put on council is, and to look at the candidates who have the experience to lead both in their personal life, raising their family, and professionally. To look for the candidate that's a team player, that plays well with others and is going to bring collaborative solutions to the table. To look for candidates that are focused on the issues that matter to Harrison and not get distracted by national politics. And lastly, a candidate with attention to detail that can pick apart the problem and really get a solid understanding of it. And I am grateful to be a candidate, and I ask for your vote on November 2nd.
Thank you, Mr. Combs. Well, on behalf of our sponsors, the Harrison Press, the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank each of the candidates for your participation in this exercise of democratic ideals. I want to give special thanks to Sheila Wilhelm and her daughter, Berlin, for keeping all of you on time tonight. And as we close this forum, we extend our best wishes for your success and dedication to the service of our community. Whether you are elected or not next week, you should all be applauded for throwing your hat into the ring and making the effort. As we sign off tonight, I will leave you with the words of one of our nation's great presidents, Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually does strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. This concludes our forum this evening. I want to again thank the Harrison Press and the Harrison Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this event, and Legacy Church for serving as our host. Thank you.